when you have data, you have to actually statistically have enough data sets
Yeah.
to actually show a pattern. And
Right.
to do that, you have to have salespeople, you have to have ops people, you have to build out an opportunity for others to win in your business, and then lead them positively with that data, with your proven process, right? This is the way to win here. This is what we say here. This is how we do what we do here. Hey everyone, Daniel Ramsey here with MyOutDesk, and Cari and I are back talking. Well, what are we talking about? We are talking about how to create a culture of productivity. Cari, how are you today?
I'm awesome. How are you? Excited to be back and bringing some more value. Thanks to everybody watching in.
Yeah. So
Productivity.
let's talk the problem statement. What's the problem statement that we're going to kind of tackle today?
Yeah. So I think that, if you have been a leader in any capacity, whether you own your own business or you're a leader in somebody else's business, one of the burning questions is, how do I get people to be productive? And if you are a productive human being yourself, maybe you're very self-driven. If you're an entrepreneur, you probably are. The most painful thing is like trying to get someone else to do something that you do or you can do, and you cannot figure out how to get them there. And so creating that culture is really, really important, because we talked about this before, Daniel. It's the I do it to we do it to they do it. That doesn't work if we don't have a culture of productivity.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And as a leader myself, all of the conflict that I've ever created inside of my own organization, and if you're a leader, we create conflict, we create mess. That's just unfortunately what we do. It's
Yeah.
typically around this not knowing how to convey or get your point across to your employees. And culture and productivity is one of the biggest pain points that we all have as leaders. And so I'm excited for this topic. Let's dive in. What's the first step, Cari? What's the first step in creating a culture of productivity?
I think the first step is realizing that productivity can only come if someone has confidence, and confidence can only come if someone is competent. And so, it seems obvious, but I think it is sometimes overlooked. And part of it is because we, as the leader, have competency and we've gained confidence. And sometimes we forget that the people that we're leading aren't there yet. So what can we do to create that competency on a regular basis? That should be through coaching and training. It should be through helping them understand value that they bring because of your organization, that the organization brings, and having constant conversations around that so that they can truly become a competent professional in your world, which builds that confidence and then is going to make them move forward in more productive activities.
Yeah, I love it. The mistake that we make as leaders, and I've made this, and that's why I can talk about it, because it's so ridiculous. I'm like, what do you mean you can't close this person? What do you mean you can't accomplish this task? What do you mean you can't finish this project? I can. And the reality is that, what you'll hear an employee say is, well, you're the CEO. It doesn't count. Like, you have a different bandwidth, a different ability. And so, the first in my mind, one of the very first things is having clarity around what the expectation is, and then holding that standard as the minimum standard for your business. Like, here's how we say it here. Here's what we say it here. Here's how we finish that project. Here's what, and so having a common language, so that your team knows exactly what their role is to deliver, is step one. And then, some measure of, a scorecard or a scoreboard saying that they're delivering that value to your customers, whether it's an accounting thing, a marketing thing, an ops thing, sales thing. This works in every department. Like, every piece of your business needs to have a framework so your folks can follow it. So there's no question about, but here's the thing, and Cari, I'm curious your thought. Those aren't normal things for entrepreneurs to build. It's not normal to create a quality standard an audit to make sure that your people are hitting the quality, give them coaching and feedback that are based on the numbers. Like that piece is just not normal for us. So
no, because it's already in our head. We don't need to do that.
that's right. My
gut
gut tells me, right?
That's right. And we're laughing about this, but it's true. This is how I am too. Like I have to be forced to do these things because it's not natural for me either. And I know you've been there, Daniel. So yeah, you have to, well, first of all, I always ask people, why aren't you doing what you know you need to do? And because that's the problem with people not being productive. And oftentimes they don't always know the answer, but what we find out is, they really just don't know where to find the information, what exactly to say that's going to create success. They feel like they're kind of reinventing the wheel. They're trying it out. And we make the mistakes oftentimes as entrepreneurs, especially as entrepreneurs. I'm going to bring this around to, working with other entrepreneurial type personalities. So in real estate, for an example, or in, let's call it insurance or something where we are bringing in salespeople, the first thing we think is, well, they're independent contractors or they wanted to be an entrepreneur, so they don't want to be told what to do. And that's actually not true. What we found when we built our real estate expansion team in 35 locations across the country is the top producers wanted us to tell them who to call, what to say, how to find the information, how much to do it. They wanted to know the numbers. Do you know why? Because they wanted to make a certain amount of money. They wanted to have a certain amount of success. And if we just told them the formula to do that, they would go do it instead of guessing and trying it out. That's actually something that creates a lot of uncertainty for people, and it's not very motivating. It's motivating to know if you wake up today and you do 1, 2, 3, that this is the outcome. That's motivating for driven people, I think.
Well, and you landed on our point number 2. As a leader, it's your responsibility to have the formula, know your company's data. Like, wildly enough, everything in our business is measured, right? Everything from lead quality to how fast we finish a project to whether, and it's all scoreboarded, and our sales team, every single step of our client's journey is measured. And then when there is a problem, we look in, okay, well, what caused that problem? Where was that hiccup? And then we compile that data, and every quarter we're reviewing that data so that we can bring the best practice back to our team. And it's funny because we have this new salesperson, and he's going to love that I'm mentioning him because his name's Steve. Steve, love you, man. He created a new a pre-consultation follow-up process in our business. Hit a complete different process. He brought it to the team. We have 7 salespeople, 5 appointment setters. He brings this process, and now he's having 100% show up ratios for consultations. Well, on average, we typically run between 80 and 90, but he's got 100. So guess what? We're going to take his process, dump it on the rest of the team, and we're going to see our show up ratio increases. That's data. You have to track it to know what the formula is.
That's right. So if you don't have numbers, don't lie. This is the reality. Also, entrepreneurs like myself tend to be very optimistic, and we just think it's all going to work out. We don't need to worry about this. And the reality is that also leaves a lot of room for emotion. And then when you're making business decisions, it should not be emotional. It should be based on data, facts, and numbers, because they don't lie and they'll help you build your business. It also helps you to have candid and caring conversations with those that you coach and train if you have the numbers and data, because it's not attacking them personally. It's just talking about the facts. And that actually leads us to this idea of, once you have the data, so get your tracking systems in place, find the data. Where is the business coming from? Then double down on that. At what stage are people getting hung up? And I'm talking a little bit on the sales side, but we can bring this to marketing. We can bring this to anything in operations. If we're tracking it, are they getting caught in different parts of the process? And if they are, and that's where we see conversion start to slip, then we can, as a leader, coach and train and give them more directive, because our goal is to help them be successful. A leader is to succeed through other people. Well, you can't succeed through other people if you're not helping them succeed. And this is the best way to do it, because, by the way, they're not you. and they don't necessarily learn like you, and they don't do everything just like you. So again, you can't bring that perspective in. You've got to use the facts, the data, and then help them to be more competent, gain that confidence, and then get into more productivity and have better results. This is how you truly succeed through people. And I think that that is something that, again, to your point, is very unnatural, but it can be extremely empowering as a leader. And it's a great leadership growth opportunity for you if you haven't done it, to just get yourself into that uncomfortable space, because you start having very, very different conversations with those you lead.
Well, and I think the problem is when this starts to matter is that once you've crossed the $1 million mark, because then you're building the we do it team, right? You've got a team. And what'll happen is, because you don't have a lot of data, you just think your data is the data that matters. And you have to have folks on your team doing the job, and then you need to reflect back their data and look at what they can do. That's how you actually move from the we to they. And what I hate, you watch a lot of videos and nobody has like the how to do it, right? They all talk in like, they're just not telling you how to actually move.
Yeah.
But this is when you have data, you have to actually statistically have enough data sets to actually show a pattern. And to do that, you have to have salespeople, you have to have ops people, you have to build out an opportunity for others to win in your business, and then lead them positively with that data, with your proven process, right? This is the way to win here. This is what we say here. This is how we do what we do here. And I think that is where people who get that, they end up scaling and growing a business, and they get to that $10 million a year in revenue. They get to that, 35 locations like you guys have. And this is the biggest opportunity, because the data, a big enough team that are all doing the job the same way, you can then positively lead them to what the next right move would be to increase revenue, productivity, their pay, your pay, and grow and scale your business.
Yeah. Because, even if you're somebody who doesn't have a bunch of employees yet, start with the end in mind and start tracking your own data. It's not natural. You don't think you really need to, because it's all in your gut. It's all in your head. You know what you're doing. I get that. Document it. Start documenting what you say. What's working? What is your process? It might be something that just comes naturally, but it still is a process. You're still doing something that's getting you the success. You just haven't documented it yet. So document it. Track your own numbers, know where your strengths are as a business. This is also going to give you the key to how do you continue to then bring people into your world. So this conversation can, be for people who are in the early stages of this. Here's the biggest mistake I see people make, and we talked about this, Daniel, at the beginning, was like this idea of we have to be everything for everyone. And we shared with you a few weeks back about, creating your vision, being authentic to who you are as a leader, really getting clear on what your mission is and what you have to offer and who needs what you want. You can't be everything to everyone. You've got to really hone in on the strengths of your business already. And when you know where you get most of your business from, when you know where your strengths as a leader are, you can start to utilize that to force more growth, but you wouldn't know that if you didn't track the data. And so, yes, I think you should diversify to a certain degree, and yet you aren't going to have all of these different ways of getting business. You're going to typically find that you have about, on average, and there's give or take, 3 sources that are going to be your strongest sources. And that allows you to bring different people with different strengths and talents into your world. And they'll probably hone in on one of the 3, for an example, and really become a rock star in that area. If you only have one, you might not get every, productive opportunity out of the people you bring into your world. And if you have too many, you stretch yourself too thin and you do things just kind of partially and never really do anything great.
I love it. Okay, we're going to wrap up. So to create a culture of productivity, step 1 is just have a proven process that you're willing to teach people. Step 2, get the data, know what your ratios are, understand your business, and then positively lead. I mean, like Cari said, there's going to be a couple sources typically of business, a couple winning proven processes. And so just lead positively with the right data, with the proven process, and then watch your business scale and grow. I want to wrap up by just saying, this is the definition of leadership. And if you're listening right now, this is the area that caused me the most pain, and I think this is an appropriate place to kind of wrap up. The leadership is the process of influencing people by providing purpose, direction, motivation to accomplish a mission and improve an organization. Good luck on your leadership style and your leadership journey. And Cari, thanks again for your time today.